I had a complete loss of control when it came to my eating habits. I ended up turning to binge eating.
Welcome, friends, on a beautiful day on the Gold Coast. And yes, so privileged to have young Liz, Elizabeth, Pamela McLeish join us. She's radiant, dynamic, kind-hearted. And as I call her, Liz the Wiz. She's my executive producer, my executive creator, my videographer, editor,
All of the above.
and executive marketing. So you get to see the beautiful face behind the camera. Welcome today, Liz. So
Thank
good to have you join us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What I'd love to do is to kick off is, what's your favorite song that you love to listen to that gets you motivated?
My favourite song at the moment, I feel like it changes depending on how I'm feeling and what's going on in my life. But there's a song called Set Me Free, and it's sort of like electronic techno style. And as the name would describe, it's about letting go, set me free, which I feel like is quite relevant to our conversation today.
Oh, awesome. So is there a special dance that you do?
I don't know if you want to see the dance. No, it's more just like belt it out in the car and sing it.
And then tell us something funny now. I'd love to know your most embarrassing moment.
Okay, this is the question I prepared for. One time I was skiing in Japan. I love skiing. It's like a hobby of mine and a passion. And I wasn't very good at this stage. I'm a lot better now, or at least I would like to think that I'm better. And I was when you are trying to slow down when you're skiing, it's called pizza. And I am powering down this hill, like coming at such a speed, and I'm pizzaing and it's doing nothing.
Oh.
And so I think, well, how am I going to stop? I'm going to run into someone. I'm actually going to really hurt someone. So I think I've got to like get on the ground. So I throw myself backwards. I fall on my bum, but this. The skis keep going and take me with and I plummet into this crowd. I wipe about 4 people out and and just make this big mess, and there's snow everywhere and everyone's looking at me. Like everyone is looking at me because it was so dramatic. And this sweet Japanese man comes running over to me and asks me if I'm okay in Japanese. And anyway, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm just embarrassed. So that was probably, embarrassing.
That's a bit of a whitewash of note.
Literally.
So Liz, talk to us about your family. I'm sure you've got a beautiful family.
My immediate family are on the Gold Coast, so mum, dad and my sister. I have a really close relationship with my parents and my sister. I consider my sister a friend more than a sister, I would say, which is really beautiful. Didn't used to be like that. We used to hate each other's guts, but we love each other now that we've grown up and we've matured a little bit.
So are you the oldest?
Yes, I'm the oldest by 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a good pairing.
Yeah, it's I think I sort of took on that older sister role, and even though arguably my sister is more mature and makes better life decisions than me now, it's okay because it's her turn.
She's learned from your mistakes?
Yeah, literally.
So talk to us, Liz, about your early years, growing up. Say about from 1 to 10.
I moved to Australia, to the Gold Coast when I was 3 years old. We migrated from the UK. My sister and I were born in the UK. That was when my parents met, and we moved here because my parents thought we would have a better life here in Australia. I went to a school on the Gold Coast, a Christian school, went there from prep to 12. I was always into sport growing up. I was a competitive swimmer. And eventually I did competitive rowing as well.
So sport was in the genes.
I was always working towards a goal in a sporting athleticism sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you would be more performance and goal oriented.
Yeah, I would say so.
Any significant event that took place in that period?
Obviously, I've mentioned the swimming that I did. That was a huge part of my life. And this one day where I went to squad training, and it was a bit busier. There was a lot of people that had turned up for this session, more than normal. and it just sent me into a spiral. I can remember crying. I was so anxious about the thought of being around all these people, these older kids that intimidated me, and I was just this little, 8-year-old. Yeah, that was a really pivotal moment, and I can look back now and see that was probably when I started to become aware of my shyness. That was quite crippling, really, and it almost became sort of part of my personality. I identified as like a shy girl, and that shyness kind of came with me for the rest of my life, and it's still something I struggle with now, but obviously I'm a lot better.
So you took that on.
Yeah, and I just believe so wholeheartedly that I'm this shy girl, because the way that people were reacting to me, I think I was projecting that shyness onto people, and I think when you do that, people treat you a certain way because you're projecting on your insecurities to other people.
Okay, obviously that was a significant event that took place there. Did you have any good friends at that point in time?
Yeah, I had a great group of friends, in particular one friend who at the time I considered my best friend. And it's funny, we talk about shyness. She was the opposite of me. And I think that's why I was drawn to her, because she was beaming with confidence and this energy that was so attractive, and I was envious of it because I didn't see those qualities in myself. And I could see the way that people gravitated towards her and wanted to be her friend. It's funny, I can look back now and laugh, but at the time it felt really awful. But you have crushes when you're at school, and you have people that you fancy, and there were guys that I liked, but she would always get the guys, and I was always like, why does she get the guys and the ones that I like? And I think it was because she was beaming with this confidence, and I was not, and people pick up on that. And I think shyness to people says, I don't believe in myself, I don't like myself. Yeah. Unfortunately, people don't necessarily want to be around people like that.
And you've completed that squad training. How did you feel coming home on that day?
I remember feeling really embarrassed that I got to the point of tears because I was so upset and intimidated by these other kids, even though they weren't doing anything wrong. Maybe they were better swimmers than me, maybe they were faster. Whatever that fear was, it shouldn't be scary, but to me it was like terrifying. I was so crippled with that anxiety and nerves.
You obviously battling with self-confidence and validation. You saw this friend of yours that was so self-confident and carried herself so well, and she was getting a validation from the people around her. And you shrunk back in your shyness, and you never got that validation. So that became a big part of your life.
I think I looked for external validation a lot in my life, and I think it comes from a sense of lack. It's like, what am I lacking in myself that I need other people to validate within me? It's not a healthy way to be. I think, you should, we did a podcast recently with beautiful Ajit and Alfine, and Alfine said something that resonated with me so much. She said, you shouldn't go looking for joy in other people. It should come from within, and then you can spread that and share that with other people. And that really resonated with me, because I think now I have that joy within me and I can confidently say that, but back then I didn't. Yeah. I think I was quite empty and lonely inside, and I didn't have joy to share with other people.
Okay, so now let's talk about the second decade of your life.
I got to the end of school, I graduated, and I actually took myself on a 6-week trip to Europe, wanting to spread my wings, so to speak, and go out and do something independent that was exciting and dangerous.
You got back from the UK.
Yep.
All right, you felt a little bit more independent. What did you do next?
I went to QUT for about 6 months, a semester. I was studying film because that was always my passion. 2017, I went to the New York Film Academy, or NYFA as we nicknamed it. And it was great. I did an 8-month diploma there. I studied film. I got hands-on with the cameras, the lights. It was what I was looking for, building the confidence to sort of go out on my own and pursue a career in this industry.
Then you had a pivotal moment there, a significant event that took place there.
So I was in a relationship at this point. It was my first long-term relationship. So I went for about 2 years. And as we all know, our first relationship feels like the whole world. It's everything to us at that time because we don't know anything else. It's all we know. And when that ended and it was on his terms, he broke up with me. It was really hard. It was that rejection was really awful, and it was the first time I'd felt that in a relationship sense.
You had a significant event when you were younger, right? And you obviously attributed to shyness, but it was this fear of failure, and that validation. You weren't receiving a validation, so it was also that fear that you weren't good enough.
Yes.
So when you get into this long-term relationship and you get rejected, that all comes to the surface. But this now played out in a different way. You vented in a different way. So talk to us, how did you vent all of this emotion that you had?
Yeah, so I think in dealing with this rejection, I turned to something that I thought would give me the opposite of rejection, and that's validation and approval from others externally, yes. Which was bodybuilding. So I'd always trained in the gym and had a passion for training, and I knew about competing and bodybuilding, and I'd always been interested in it. And for some reason, I just had this feeling. I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. And I poured myself into a bodybuilding prep. I found a coach and I just gave it everything. And I did 20 weeks of dieting, and I got to the show. I got to stand on stage and be proud of myself that I'd gone through that prep. This was, for timeline, this was March 2020. Yep. And we all know what happened in March 2020.
But you did win some medals there at that comp?
Yes, I did. I actually was very surprised to come home with 2 medals that day. I came second in juniors and I came third in first timers. So yeah, it was really validating because I'd done this big, hard task and I came away with medals. So I felt great. Like that whole experience was actually really positive, and it instilled a level of discipline in me that I still feel I have now. Yeah, and I learned a lot of lessons during that time. I learned that I'm a lot stronger than I realized.
What I'd like to tap in there is that the why behind that. It was from a negative base, right? Because you've dealt with a lot of, you were dealing with a lot of issues that you had. And so still seeking that external validation, you thought, okay, this is going to be a grand idea. Let's do it. You got the medals, but you still didn't feel that it was good enough. Something was still missing. Okay, so now we step into March 2020. This is now a world event that takes place.
Yeah.
Okay, how does this affect you?
Yeah, so I think it's funny that you said like I wasn't feeling like that was enough, because I suppose I had this false sense of achievement and success, and I think in my mind I had succeeded, but really I hadn't. It wasn't enough, and I realized that because very quickly after the show, about 2 weeks after, we went into the first lockdown with COVID, and everything that I had, all that momentum and build up and external validation, the comments from people, all of this that was building up just got swept.
Just falls apart.
Yeah, it just got taken from me, and I couldn't train anymore. I had nothing to work towards. I went from having such a tangible goal of stepping on stage to, during that time, I say this is one of the darkest periods of my life, because I had such crippling anxiety and low self-esteem at this stage because I lost that goal and I lost the gym and I lost all these things. I made the silly mistake of dropping my coach for financial reasons, because with COVID, I actually lost a lot of my business. I was in the wedding space, a wedding videographer. I lost an entire year of work because everyone had to cancel or postpone their weddings. I had a complete loss of control when it came to my eating habits. I ended up turning to binge eating. So this was a really hard time in my life. And it's funny because bodybuilding is about discipline, and it's about measuring your food out and making sure you're ticking all those boxes, your protein intake for the day, your carbs, not overeating certain things. So in my mind, I felt like I was taking control because I was like, I'm just going to turn to this now. And I turned to food, and it's something to look forward to each day. You know, I get a little binge at the end of the day, and food was like a comfort for me. I put on 15 kilos in the space of 2 months. I didn't realize that I had a bit of an unhealthy relationship with food, which fortunately now I have such a healthy relationship, but it's taken a long time to get to that point. And like, keep in mind, I needed
This was unhealthy.
very unhealthy. And I have PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. It's basically like a hormonal imbalance, very common with women. I didn't know I had it, but it came out in my skin. Wow. So I broke out with like severe hormonal acne, and I've got photos we can put in the episode to show people. Look, some people might look at it and think that that's not that bad. It gave me crippling anxiety because I was putting on weight. I couldn't train. I had acne. I lost all this like validation. Like, it was just compounding, like one thing after the other. And it was such a dark period of my life. And I was so unhappy in that period. Like, I was so deeply unhappy. And it was a really sad time in my life.
But talk to us about the demons that crept up there.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
That self-destructive nature that actually came up.
It was extremely self-destructive. And it's funny that you say the word demons because, is that what you said? Demons? Yeah. Demons. That was literally that's the best way I could describe it. Anyone that's had a binge eating disorder would probably understand this. It literally, when I would go to eat the food and I would have an episode, like a binge eating episode, it literally felt like I had this little like gremlin that was on my shoulder going, eat the cookie. And I can laugh now because it is kind of funny, but it's so not funny. But when you're in it,
but I was those are the voices you're listening to.
Yeah, and I literally, it was like a total loss of control.
Yeah.
And this voice, this gremlin, this demon, whatever it was telling me to eat it, and I literally could not stop myself. I was eating it and I knew it was bad, but I literally could not stop myself, and to the point that I would make myself sick. Like, I would be physically so unwell because I would eat just copious amounts of food, and not good food either. I wasn't eating 10 apples, Dean. I was eating 10 cookies and 10 spoonfuls of Biscoff or Nutella. Or
we're not going to go with the sugar count on
that. No, I don't want to know. And no wonder my skin broke out. Like, I think it broke out because I went from, 50 kilos, that was the lightest I got, to 65 kilos.
What were you telling yourself when you saw yourself in the mirror?
I look disgusting. Like, what have I done to myself? Look what you've done. Like, you were doing so well, and now look at you. You're fat and you've got like awful skin. It looks like you don't look after yourself. And yeah, it was very negative, and I didn't really have anything good to say about myself. Yeah.
What do we tell our young people, young women, young men going through something like this, where they have this fear of that they're not good enough?
I think it's really important to get help and not be ashamed of the behavior, even though it might feel bad and embarrassing. I think you should tell someone about it. The thing that I didn't do was I just kept it to myself. I didn't tell anyone because I was so ashamed, because obviously I'd gone from being so regimented and good and disciplined with food and training to not doing that at all. And so there was a level of like embarrassment. So yeah, I think if I'd reached out to someone, that experience could have been shorter and could have been dealt with a lot better, and it wouldn't have all been on my shoulders to deal with it and come out the other side. So yeah, I think reach out to people, whether it's a friend or family, and then if you can go to a professional, even better, because they'll have the tools to help you overcome that struggle.
Yeah, I think seeking professional help is really, really good. A counselor, a psychologist.
Yeah.
Because they have the tools to equip you. Why didn't you speak to your parents? Why didn't you speak to your sister?
Yeah, I was so embarrassed. As I said, I was sneaking into the kitchen at night when everyone was asleep. It was on purpose because I didn't want them to know what I was doing. Had they known what I was doing, of course they would have put a stop to it, and they would have questioned my behavior and tried to stop me. And I think that was part of the disorder, and that behavior was I didn't want to stop. I couldn't stop. And so if they knew what I was doing, that I knew they would try and stop me. And so again, it just shows how unhealthy that behavior can be, because there was this voice inside of me. I say it was almost like a demon or a gremlin on my shoulder that was saying, go now while everyone's asleep and eat the whole box of cookies.
So that embarrassment comes, you think, from being judged? Were you scared of being judged by your parents and
Yeah, I think
brothers?
I was scared of being judged by them. I think I still struggle with that today. I still feel, we want to always get the approval of our parents and our family. And even to today, I still feel a sense of judgment from them, and they don't mean to do that, and it's probably coming more from me than it is them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew that I felt that they would judge me, and I was ashamed of my behavior.
So to our friends that they have this pressure of performance, there's also this fear of judgment from our parents, because we want to do everything to please our parents, right? That was probably a pivotal reason for you doing what you did, right? If I asked you the question, how important was it to please your parents?
Yeah, very important.
Very important.
It's always been important to me.
Right, from the time you were young. That's why you were so competitive.
I think so, because they got me into those sports. So I felt like, I had to prove to them that I was doing a good job. I was putting in the work and winning the accolades, the medals, and always looking for that approval, I think.
Yeah. So the story here is also, you can do your best, but still have that void inside of you. The medals, the accolades are not going to satisfy that. But then you also have the added pressure of being judged. But that judgment, actually, it's a narrative that you've created within your mind, that they're going to judge me.
Yeah.
Right? And so for our friends that find themselves in this performance-based environment, and yet the fear of being judged and also the fear of failure, it is important there that you seek help, right? Seek professional help. Speak to your parents and at least let them know. Because I can tell you, for coming from a parent's perspective, we would come alongside you to help you, right? We don't want you to carry that burden alone. Okay, so Liz, that was really, really, really powerful. And I think it's going to help a lot of our young friends dealing with the same challenges in their life. What happened next after that comp?
So I got into a relationship, another long-term relationship after that. And I think it probably blinded me to the fact that I had all these issues with my confidence and self-esteem, because obviously when you get into a relationship, you're getting very validated. You're being told you look great, they're attracted to you. It's very positive in that sense. And so I think I just turned a blind eye to all those issues that I had, because suddenly I was getting all this validation again. Again, it's that external validation that it's false though, and it's not coming from within, it's coming from other people. But like I said before, that joy and happiness should come from within. It shouldn't come from other people, because that can be taken away from you so quickly, which I was learning time and time again, that can just get ripped out from underneath you. Yeah, so going into that relationship, whilst it was beautiful, I think it made me put all those issues to the side again.
So you put it in a vault.
Put it in a vault, locked it up, and, forgot about it for a little while until I went through, a hard time. Again, probably one of the more darker times in my life, where a relationship broke down and there was some trust that was broken. Whilst it was awful and I wouldn't wish that on anyone and I wouldn't want to go through it again myself, it was almost a blessing in a way, because it was such a catalyst for me to finally deal with my issues.
Yeah.
Because going through that put such a spotlight on the fact that I had all these issues, because suddenly I went through something really traumatic, and it brought up a lot of emotions for me, and feelings of rejection and feelings of not being worthy. Again, coming back to all these issues that I already had, it just all snowballed, and it came up again. That vault opened up. I had to go see a psychologist, and I had to go deal with this issue that I had. one, you know, going through a relationship that was broken down and trust that was broken, but then also dealing with all the issues that I had within me that I wasn't dealing with. And this was my opportunity. I say it was a blessing because I felt like this was the first time in my life that I actually had the self-awareness that I even had these issues. And self-awareness is so important because we can't grow, we can't better ourselves if we don't know that we have a problem. But if you are genuinely happy within yourself and you love yourself, then no matter what happens or how people treat you or if people come in and out of your life, you'll always be okay because deep down you love yourself. Even though it was really hard, it kick-started that change within me where I finally decided that I was going to deal with this issue. And so I started to see a psychologist. I started to try and better myself, and it became a daily habit that I did. And I say to people, you know, trying to better your mental health it's like training a muscle in the gym. Your mind is another muscle that you need to train, and you need to teach it how to be better and how to think more positively. And you know, I was journaling a lot. Journaling was really positive for me and really helpful. And it took a long time and it was a bit of a roller coaster. I regressed a lot. There was times where I'd get so upset with myself because I felt like I was getting better and I was improving and I wasn't speaking so negatively to myself anymore. But then something would happen and I would just come back down and I felt like I'd started all over again. So yeah, I think you got to be kind to yourself and be patient. You know, that journey of improving it's not linear. It's very up and down. So give yourself some grace, and it's okay if you do regress, because even if you regress, you're still taking steps forward. It's not one step back is just an opportunity to take some more steps forward and grow.
What I want to do, Liz, is just kind of rewind a bit. What you mentioned earlier was really, really important around relationships, where you've got this low self-esteem and low self-confidence. You step into a relationship because you're seeking that external validation. That could be a real dangerous move to make for young men and for young women, where you get into relationships because you feel you're not good enough and you expect that other person to provide that validation for you.
Yeah, it comes
How
from,
dangerous is that, Liz?
Yeah, it's really dangerous because it's coming from a sense of lack, and you shouldn't be looking for what you're missing within in someone else, because it's going to come up and it's going to be ugly eventually, you know. And I think that's this is like therapy, but I'm looking back at the start of that relationship and I can see it probably started with the wrong intention. I didn't realize at the time. And so, and maybe that's why it broke down and it didn't work out, because it didn't start from a good foundation. I had all these issues within me that I wasn't dealing with. And when you take that baggage, that emotional baggage, into a relationship, it has a really negative effect on you as a couple. And I think, not dealing with that was really detrimental to the relationship, and the why is important.
The thing that really dwells with me here is that you're seeking for the validation, but then your body image becomes a priority. You tend to now go and do things that, so that you can feel beautiful and look beautiful. So everything is based on just aesthetics. And you've just come out of aesthetics. Because bodybuilding is all about aesthetics. But what about those young people that don't go to that level of competing, but seeking the validation? Their body image becomes so important. I mean, we see all the young people at the gym, what they're doing, just to get that validation. How dangerous is that?
Yeah, I think it's dangerous when it comes from the wrong place. So I think you need to look inward and think, why do I want to look a certain way? Is it because I'm looking for approval from other people?
100%.
Yeah, or is it because I just want to genuinely better myself and have that confidence that comes with getting stronger? And, I think the why needs to be really important. But I think a lot of people get into the gym maybe for the wrong
For the
reason.
wrong reasons,
Yeah, it's that external validation and
The
looking
body image.
body
to
image.
look a certain way and think, okay, I am the way I look. And
Yeah.
what people see is that's what they're going to get.
Yeah.
But I think that is really shallow. The real treasure is from within. And learning to love oneself, learning to appreciate oneself, and learning to validate, because that's what we're starting to learn now. You're changing the narrative from a self-destructive narrative to positive affirmations, journaling, speaking positively to yourself every day. You get into that habit.
Yes.
How important is that?
Oh, it's so important. Like I laugh at it now because it seems silly, but I used to look in the mirror and I would force myself to say something positive about myself. I was like, all right, you've spoken negatively about yourself for long enough. I want you to say something positive to yourself. And whenever I said it, sometimes I would say it out loud. Sometimes it would just be internal. And I would look in the mirror and rather than picking myself apart, which I'd done for so long, I would look in the mirror and say, you look beautiful today, or look at your beautiful smile, or your hair looks gorgeous today. You know, it seems silly, but that compounds. And when you keep telling yourself these nice things about yourself, and it doesn't just have to be physical, it can be I am a kind person, or I am empathetic, or I am generous. You know, it doesn't have to be physical things.
Yeah. And I think also what's powerful is saying, you know, I love myself.
Yeah.
How do you expect someone else to love you if you don't love yourself?
Yeah.
That's a big one, right?
That's huge. Yeah.
Right? And so for our friends, you know, they often say you're falling in love. Are you falling in love for the wrong reasons? Are you seeking validation from the partner? The validation starts with you. So let's think about that. And you can add your responses in the comments, right?
Yeah, we'd love to hear what other people
We'd love to hear
have
what
to share about that.
Right. Let's talk about your next step that you take forward from there, because now you're creating this, you're going like into a cocoon. Like the caterpillar is going into this cocoon, right? And a beautiful butterfly is going to come out. Now talk to us about overcoming.
Let's say it's about 4 or 5 years. So it sounds like a long period of time, but it honestly took me probably that long to grow and overcome all these issues that I had. And like I said, it was a daily thing. It was, you know, it wasn't overnight. This year, in fact, especially has been extremely transformative for me. I kept journaling and I kept writing. I feel like there's a change coming. I feel like I can sense a change coming. And maybe once a week I would get this inkling and I would write about it. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I don't know, but I couldn't explain it. I just felt like there was something changing within me. And I think that change within me was wanting to grow now as a person and take that next step. I'd already overcome, thankfully, this anxiety. I used to always write, I want to be a confident girl, and now I can happily say that I am that confident girl that I envisioned for myself, you know, years ago when I was writing in my journal. More recently, something that's been really pivotal for me is getting out of my comfort zone to make new friendships. So I was feeling like I was lacking something in my life. I felt like I didn't have enough meaningful connections in my life, and it was a massive insecurity of mine. I don't have enough friends. It was something I would cry about often. I would get really upset about it, but I didn't know what was wrong, and I thought it was me. And I had all these limiting self-beliefs about I can't make new friends because I should have made them by now, or why would anyone want to be friends with me? Again, probably still not overcoming fully that negative self-talk and having some issues still with my confidence because I was questioning my value and my ability to make friends was like questioning, am I good enough as a person?
Your worthiness, right?
Yeah. And I think more recently I have put myself out of my comfort zone and I've made some beautiful friendships, like some friends that I now, even though I've only met them this year, I would consider them lifelong friends, which is such a blessing. And I've put myself out there and got out of my comfort zone, and the things that have come up in my life and the opportunities are so beautiful. And it just goes to show that when you are your authentic self and you improve all those things that need to be improved and you acknowledge that maybe there's some issues and you work on those and you better yourself every single day, and then when you finally get to the stage where you can open yourself up to opportunities, it is amazing what can come into your life and who can come into your life.
Yeah.
Amazing opportunities. Like I always laugh and joke with my friends. I say, I've had my happy cry for the day. I have like a little happy cry every day because I think about something like my friendships and these beautiful people in my life, and it brings me to tears because I just feel so grateful, and I could have only dreamt of this life that I have now. Only in the last few months really has it been a big change in my life, and I've made some of these friendships, but it just is so nice to see that something that I had written down and envisioned for myself and manifested can actually come to fruition if you are in a good, healthy place and you love yourself.
A question to our friends I would like to pose. Are you developing meaningful relationships? Let's say meaningful friendships. Because friends are really important. And this has been coming up, I think, episode after episode. Are you developing meaningful friendships? And what is preventing you from developing those meaningful relationships? You mentioned something about being authentic, right? Being authentic means stop lying to yourself. Calling things out when you see things in your life, and having friends that can call things out and be honest with you. Seeking the help, and not living from a self-destructive basis. Because we can all get stuck in there. But being authentic is actually coming from that base of, okay, I love myself. And therefore I can love others. And when I come into contact with others, I can actually give them something good that's from my heart. And that's what we want. We want real relationships with real people. And it's time for you to be real with yourself. Call the reality of the situation. Get the necessary help that you need. Begin to trust people. And that means being vulnerable, right? How important it is to be vulnerable.
I try and be really vulnerable with my friends, and I open up to them about how I'm feeling. And when you are vulnerable, people are more than willing to help you and support you. And, in that you sometimes build a beautiful, deep connection with someone, because often they might be going through something similar, or they might know someone who's going through something similar. And so it opens you up to conversations and potentially growing and building a friendship that's stronger, because it also adds a level of trust. I think when you're vulnerable, people sense that,
100%.
wow, this person must trust me, that they've just opened up about something that they're going through, and that, that adds a level of trust to the relationship. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, that's good. Liz, let's try and bring this plane to land.
Yes.
Okay. We've hit some altitude.
Oh, yeah.
There's some turbulence.
There's been a lot of turbulence. Turbulence that I wasn't expecting.
But now we're coming to land.
Yes.
Come on. You've mentioned about grace. Have grace for yourself. Right. In this journey that you've been on, what are some of the valuable lessons, 3 valuable lessons that you've learned?
I think the first lesson would be deep love. Genuinely loving yourself as a person is so important. As we've said, you can't get into a relationship or a friendship from a sense of lack and looking for what you're missing within yourself in someone else, because it's never gonna end well.
Yeah.
So I think finding that, but then if you can find that in someone else as well, whether it's a friend or a partner, after you've dealt with any issues and you have built that self-love and genuinely love yourself, I think it's so beautiful to find someone that you can share that with. Like we said before, you have joy within yourself, and then you can share that joy with other people, like our beautiful friend Alphine said. And it's so true. It's when you have all that appreciation for yourself, then you just get to share it with other people, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. I can remember one of the pivotal teachings that Jesus gave was love your neighbor as you love yourself. And it's really important because he teaches that, that we have to love ourselves and then love others. What was the next lesson that you've learned?
I think it would be to dream again. So as we've said, when you get out of your comfort zone and you open yourself up to opportunities and you can dream, it is amazing what can happen in your life and who can come into your life when you open yourself up to opportunities and you let go of all those limiting beliefs. And I've experienced that firsthand, particularly this year. The people that have walked into my life, I could only have dreamt that these beautiful people have walked into my life, and not just people, opportunities as well, work and, you know, training and strength in the gym, like all these things that come because I am letting go of those thoughts that I'm not strong enough, I'm not good enough. You know, when you let go of all of that, it is amazing how strong you are. You realize how strong you are and how amazing you are, and people see that in you as well. And then you start to attract people because they see that you believe in yourself. And
and you've had a significant other,
in
terms of a friend, right?
So
a soul sister, we would call it.
I call her my soul sister, my twin flame, Jess. She is a new friend that I've made this year, only in the last few months, but it's crazy. I say to her, and I get emotional when I say this to her, but I think we would have met in any walk of life, in any universe, in any, you know, scenario, because I just, the emotional connection that we have and the friendship and how deep that friendship is, and the respect that we have for each other and admiration is something that I've never experienced in a friendship. It's so beautiful, and I feel so grateful that she walked into my life. You know, she came at a really pivotal time when I got out of a really my biggest long-term relationship, and I was feeling extremely vulnerable, and I met her a week before this happened, and she couldn't have come at a better time. And I'm so grateful for her and her support and her continued support. And we just lift each other up. And, you know, they say like women should try and support other women. We shouldn't try and tear each other down. And it's just like complete love for each other. There's no jealousy. There's no competition. It's just complete and utter like love for each other. And if you can find someone like that in your life, you've just won at life. Like there's not much more you can ask for in life.
That's a big lesson in life.
Yeah.
And, you know, to our friends, you might not need to get many, but just one.
Yeah.
Right? There's a famous saying, there's a friend that sticks closer than a brother or a sister. And, you know, go and search and find that. Right? For our young women, it's important to get a soul sister.
Yeah.
For our young men, it's important for you to get a soul brother. Someone that you can trust, someone that you can be vulnerable with.
Definitely.
Okay. The last one, powerful one.
The last lesson would be, and we've said it so many times in this episode, but it's so important, and that's to be your authentic self. You know, have that self-confidence and believe in yourself. And when you are your authentic self, the people that will gravitate towards you because they can see you are a good person and you are being unapologetically you, it just attracts the good people that you want to have in your life because you're a good person.
Wow, that's good. That's well said. Yeah.
Thank you.
So our 3 takeaways. Don't overthink.
Don't overthink.
Right?
Yeah.
Keep things simple.
Yep.
And your most powerful one?
To let go.
To let go. What should we let go of?
We need to let go of things that aren't serving us. So, you know, there's this quote that I absolutely love, and I read it not too long after ending my most recent long-term relationship. And it basically says, if you let go of the thing that you're holding on to, it might just open up a world of opportunities
and possibilities.
You know, and it might be that one thing that you're holding on to that's stopping you from achieving all those things. It was worded way better than that, but that's basically it in a nutshell.
That's Liz's version of it.
That's my rendition of it. But it's, in a nutshell, it's, you know, if you let go, who knows what could come into your life.
Yeah. I'd like to add to that, you know, let go of the negative self-talk.
Yes.
Let go of the self-destructive behavior. It starts with you first. To let go, it's actually to let go of those voices in your head. And you become your own worst enemy because you are essentially presenting that false narrative to the self. I often say to people that this is the movie that you're creating. You're the antagonist and the protagonist in your own movie. So you can't be the villain and the hero. Pick who you are and live from that base. So in closing, I'd like to pose a question to our friends. That you spoke about some really, really good and important points. What's holding you back from dreaming? What do you need to let go in order to invite opportunities and possibilities of good things coming your way? Share your thoughts in the comments. Would love to hear from you. And so glad that you could join us on this episode. Liz, thank you so much for today, and really, really enjoyed it. Have a good day.
I enjoyed it. It was very therapeutic for me. I'll send you the invoice.
I'll send you the invoice.
Oh, thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you again. Bye. Wow, friends. We've just listened to Liz's story, where she shared her insecurities that she's faced in the 3 stages of her life. When she was 8 years old, the shy girl, to when she was 22 years old in the middle of the COVID meltdown where she lost everything, a total loss of control, and even went into binge eating to comfort her, to the final stage of 27 years old where she had to let go of the negative self-belief and the negative self-talk to truly discover what it is like to build something beautiful. And that is the title of our episode of Elizabeth Pamela McLeish, Building Something Beautiful. Thank you for listening. I hope that you've been encouraged and you've learned some valuable lessons that's going to help you to build something beautiful. Have a great day and see you next week.